After delay after delay, the Batman Part 2 is actually finally set to start filming next year in 2026, with at least currently a 2027 release date. Um, Not quite the turnaround we wanted, but I am very excited for this film, and I'm sure it will be well worth the wait. A script has officially been turned in, and they're getting going on stuff to get ready to shoot this movie, which is very exciting. And that is very exciting, particularly for us, because that means we are going to be getting quite a bit of news about this film in the coming months. And part of that includes casting. So today we have an official announcement. Well, not really announcement, but report. It's coming from the trades and everything. Variety, I believe, was the first to break this news. That Scarlett Johansson is officially in talks to join the cast of The Batman Part 2. Now, it said that she is deep in negotiations, and so it looks like at this point she is most likely going to be officially cast. But, something could always happen. But chances are she is most likely cast in The Batman Part 2. And there's not a whole ton of details on who this character is. They didn't say exactly who she's playing. I believe it said that she is playing a villain. At least that's what some of the scoopers are saying. One, I believe it was Jeff Snyder over at the In Snyder podcast, was saying that she will be a love interest revealed to be the villain. We'll talk about that more in a second. But, at first I saw this news and I was kind of like, okay. Because I like Scarlett Johansson, but I don't love her. It really depends on the project she's in. I didn't love her as Black Widow, but I've liked her a lot in other projects. I think she is a really great actress in some things and not in others. I do need to check out Jurassic World Rebirth at some point. Obviously, she was in that over the summer. But yeah, some people jump to the conclusion of, Poison Ivy or Harley Quinn. But I don't think they're doing that. And I was afraid at first that it was just going to be, she's just a basic love interest like Vicky Vale or like somebody working at the GCPD or Wayne Industries or something. But then something came up that really piqued my interest. It was also reported that Emma Stone was reportedly first offered this role, this mystery role, and she did pass on it. Emma Stone I love in everything she's in, so I would have been really happy with that. But if this is the character that I think it is going to be, I think Scarlett Johansson is actually a really great choice. Also, side note, with these reports of Scarlett Johansson being in talks, it is also being said that Zoe Kravitz is not expected to return for the Batman Part 2. She, of course, played Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, in the first movie, where the first movie, of course, ended with her leaving to go to Bloodhaven. Looks like she's not coming back, which I really liked her in the movie, but I also don't see it as a huge issue if she doesn't come back. Maybe she'll come back for the third movie. I think that'd be cool, but especially if they're doing a different love interest in this movie, I think it makes sense for her to not be a part of the film. But who could Scarlett Johansson possibly be playing if she does officially join the cast? Well, like I said, I saw this post that extremely piqued my interest, and I feel like this is probably the leading theory online right now, because again, there was the initial sort of, again, I think very unlikely ideas of Poison Ivy or Harley Quinn. I think Poison Ivy more specifically because, Scarlett Johansson is known for playing a redhead, Black Widow all those years. Poison Ivy, but this is the Matt Reeves Batman universe. He's trying to keep things grounded. I don't think you can do Poison Ivy justice with that. I would love to see Poison Ivy in live action on the big screen, but, probably save that for James Gunn's DCU. But could we finally be getting a live-action Batman Mask of the Phantasm? So for those who don't know, Batman Mask of the Phantasm is an animated DC movie, the first of the DC AMU, and it was it was actually released theatrically as well, and is really beloved as sort of one of the best Batman movies. Now, I actually watched Batman Mask of the Phantasm for the first time ever just a few months ago. And if I'm being honest, I didn't completely love it, but I do really enjoy the concept of this film and the overall story. So basically, Mask of the Phantasm is about the Phantasm, who is this mysterious new figure who has appeared within Gotham City and is basically taking out all the criminals and mob bosses. So look out, Colin Farrell Penguin, and doing a sort of, justice throughout the city, but differently than Batman would do it, because obviously Batman doesn't kill. But simultaneously, we're also getting this story about Bruce Wayne and his fiancée, Andrea Beaumont. And spoiler alert for Batman Mask of the Phantasm, it is revealed that the Phantasm is actually Andrea Beaumont. And so I'm sure watching the movie without knowing that is a really great experience. I unfortunately was not able to have that. And that would be the hard part of adapting this, is just that I feel like that's a big part of it. And most people are probably going to know about it. But thinking about it, I do think this makes a lot of sense for what Matt Reeves wants to do with this universe in the Batman Part 2, exploring more of the Bruce Wayne character specifically. Maybe he and Andrea aren't necessarily engaged or anything, unless they've spent a lot of time off screen in between the first and second movie. That's totally possible. But I think, again, just diving more into that character, that side of the character, Andrea is a great way to do that. And it's also, there were rumors for the longest time that they wanted to do Hush for this movie, and there were teases of it in the first movie, and a lot of people just thought, oh, we're definitely getting Hush in Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. Phantasm and Hush kind of have a lot of similarities, if you think about it. Ties to Bruce Wayne as a character and his past and his personal relationships, as well as just a really cool, badass looking mask and sort of like mysterious, shadowy figure that's going throughout the city and delivering their own kind of justice. And it turns out, actually, when I was doing research for this video, I stumbled across this article where Robert Pattinson, during the press tour of the first movie, did say specifically that Matt Reeves was influenced by Mask of the Phantasm when making the Batman. So clearly Matt Reeves is a fan of Mask of the Phantasm, and maybe now he wants to adapt that story. So we could be getting Scarlett Johansson as Andrea Beaumont, aka the Phantasm. And again, like I said, I don't love Scarlett Johansson and everything, but this is something where I look at it and I'm like, okay, I think this would be a really good role for her, and I actually think she'd be really great. Because another thing with Scarlett Johansson is, acting aside, she's also really good with stunt work and action scenes, as you could see from her work with Black Widow. And I think she'd be really great in this. Actually, the design of the Phantasm is sort of similar to what Taskmaster looked like in the Black Widow movie. So that would also be sort of a cool role reversal as well. But also, the Phantasm is just such a cool, like I said, badass design that I would love to see in live action. And it's something that I never really thought would be, because I thought it, even though I didn't specifically love it, I know so many people do, and I didn't know if it would work in a live action setting. But putting it in Matt Reeves' The Batman universe, it just might. And Scarlett Johansson, I think, again, would actually be really great for this part. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said, we don't really know a ton about this movie. It's been years since The Batman, but we are just now, as we're getting closer to pre-production and entering production for filming of The Batman Part 2, just starting to get little bits and pieces about the plot and different characters that will be present in this sequel. And now, Scarlett Johansson could be joining the cast as one of her villains, and I think we may be getting some live action Mask of the Phantasm, which actually, again, like I said, I didn't love the animated movie, but I have to imagine that they're going to do it slightly differently, especially for comic fans who already know who Andrea Beaumont is and that she is the Phantasm. They're probably going to do it a little differently, and I may actually like this version better because I have a lot of faith in Matt Reeves, and I think he's going to make a great sequel, and I'm really, really excited because, again, I didn't expect this, but this is also just completely theorizing, but I think it makes a lot of sense. It would work really well, and this really excites me, and I'm excited for the Batman Part 2. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this news? Who do you think Scarlett Johansson may be playing in the Batman Part 2? Would you like a live-action Mask of the Phantasm, or would you prefer Mr. Freeze or Professor Pig or something like that? Let me know down in the comments below. So thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.